All right, everyone, welcome. Now, when we talk about artificial intelligence, it's really easy to get lost in the weeds, right? We focus on the how, the algorithms, the data, the code. But today, I want us to zoom out. We're going to focus on the what's next. We're going to completely reframe how we think about AI's role, not just as a piece of technology, but as a truly powerful new tool for strategic thinking.
So let's start with what is, without a doubt, the single most important idea we're going to cover today. It's a simple phrase, but it honestly changes everything. AI predicts, humans decide. Now, this isn't just a catchy slogan. This is the new division of labor between people and machines. And once you really truly grasp this concept, you're going to see the future of business and technology in a completely new light. To really unpack what this means, we're going to look at it from 4 different angles. First, we'll establish why AI is best understood as a prediction machine. Then, and this is key, we'll explore why that actually makes human judgment more valuable, not less. We'll also dive into the big, important questions around context and fairness. And finally, we'll see how this all rolls up into a brand new source of competitive advantage.
Okay, so let's get crystal clear on what these AI systems are actually giving us. It's easy to think of AI as some kind of magic crystal ball that spits out definitive answers, but the reality? It's much more subtle than that, and, frankly, much more powerful.
The number one thing most AI systems produce isn't a command, but a number, a probability. And AI doesn't tell you this customer is going to cancel. No, it says there is an 87% chance this customer will cancel. That shift from certainty to probability is absolutely everything. Think of it this way. AI gives us a forecast, like a weather report, not a prophecy that's been written in stone. So, if the machine hands us that 87% probability, what do we do with it? This is exactly where we come in. This is where human judgment becomes not just important, but absolutely essential. Because we're the ones who have to decide what's really at stake.
We do this by defining what economists call the payoff function. This is a critical idea. It's simply the framework we create to weigh all the different possible outcomes. For instance, how much is it worth to us to keep that customer? What's the cost if we try to keep them and we fail? And AI has no clue. That value is determined entirely by our strategy, our goals, and our resources.
And this brings us to a really critical part of that payoff function, what we call error costs. Human judgment is all about weighing the consequences of getting it wrong. For example, what's the cost of giving a discount to a customer who is probably going to stay with you anyway? That's a false positive. But then you have to ask, what's the cost, which is likely much, much higher, of doing nothing when a really valuable customer was about to walk out the door? That's a false negative. The AI gives us the prediction. Our judgment has to calculate the cost of a mistake. Let's make this real with a classic example, customer churn. So, in step 1, an AI crunches all the data and gives you a neat, ranked list of customers who are most likely to leave. At that point, the AI's job is pretty much done. Now comes step 2, which is all about human judgment. A manager has to look at that list and decide what to do. Do you offer a 10% discount to everyone on it? Maybe a 50% discount just to the top 10? And, stepping back, is it even fair to give special offers to some customers but not others? These are strategic questions, not statistical ones. This shows the essential partnership perfectly. You see, the AI answers the question, what is likely to happen? It's a statistical tool, plain and simple. We, on the other hand, have to answer the much tougher question, so what? What should we do about it? Our job is to apply strategy, values, and context to that raw prediction. They are truly 2 sides of the same coin. And that brings us to a really crucial point. Prediction, by itself, can be dangerously incomplete. Why? Well, because the data we use to train these AI models, no matter how massive it is, can never, ever capture the full context of a situation. And that leads us right into the critical issues of fairness and responsibility. Just take a second and think about the question on this slide. Is an accurate prediction always a fair one? The answer, and I can't stress this enough, is a clear and resounding no. For example, a model might accurately predict that a certain neighborhood is a higher credit risk based on historical data, but acting on that prediction could be deeply discriminatory. This is why we must always remember, statistical accuracy is not the same thing as fairness.
This is where real judgment comes into play. We have to be the ones to integrate all the things that never actually show up in a spreadsheet. Things like, what are our long-term goals? What are our competitors doing right now? What does the law say we can and can't do? And how would this decision look on the front page of the news? These are the complex human variables a machine just can't see. and they are absolutely essential for making the right call.
This quote here really captures the danger. We have to be on guard against using statistical accuracy as some kind of excuse for unfair outcomes. The ultimate responsibility is to make sure that how we use AI aligns with our values and our principles, not just what the raw numbers say is optimal.
So let's bring this all home, because when you truly get this new division of labor between AI and humans, you can start to see where the real competitive advantage is going to be in the coming years. And here's a hint. It's not about having the fanciest AI, it's about how you use it.
The challenge for leaders today, and for your generation, isn't just about buying and plugging in AI systems. The real task is so much deeper. It's about designing the entire decision-making process for an organization, one that skillfully combines the predictive power of machines with the wisdom and context of people. This is fundamentally a leadership challenge, not a technical one.
This means that managers and executives have a whole new set of responsibilities. You're the one who decides who gets to act on an AI's prediction. You're the one who defines what success even looks like in the first place, that payoff function we talked about. You are the one who sets the ethical guardrails. And most importantly, you have to make sure that a human is always accountable for the final decision. The buck stops with a person, not with an algorithm.
And this, right here, is the key takeaway for your careers. As AI makes prediction cheap and easy and available to everyone, that's no longer where the real value is. The source of competitive advantage completely shifts. It shifts to the quality of the human judgment you can build around those predictions. That is the new strategic high ground.
And so I'll leave you with this final thought to really chew on. As you move forward in your studies and your careers, I want you to constantly ask yourselves this question. In an age where predictive power is becoming a commodity, what is the truly scarce resource? What is the asset that you must cultivate above all others? Is it your models, or is it your judgment?